welcome to episode 56 of the We Were Athletes Once podcast. My name is Kyle. I am joined by Koty.
What's up, everybody?
And we're here to talk about some baseball because over the past few days, it seems like the last few dominoes have really been starting to fall in this offseason. It started out really hot when Dylan Cease signed right after the World Series, I'm pretty sure. And then it was slow for a long time. We were waiting for a lot of the big guys to decide where they were going, waiting for Kyle Tucker, Bo Bichette, Alex Bregman, Cody Bellinger, all those guys. And then they all fell at once. And now, obviously, there's still some pieces that may or may not be available, which some of them we'll get into. But it really seems like the last two big pieces were put into place. Koty, what do you think about with what's happened this week and just in general the offseason?
I kind of feel a little bit of relief that we're not kind of just waiting for these moves to happen because these are the last two, like you said, big ones that were left. There'll still be some smaller moves. There's still a few guys out there. But these were two of the last ones that you're like, when is that going to happen? Because they're going to happen. I think at this point, Zach Gallen is really the only person we're waiting on.
I forgot about Zach Gallen.
Yeah. So did all 30 MLB teams. They forgot about him.
Yeah, I haven't even heard all that much. I've heard like two teams.
I still think he's going to go to the Cubs, and it's going to be a 1-year deal, which is crazy because his agent thought he was getting 5 years and big money after he had a terrible year. So I don't know. He needs a new agent, but
we also thought that someone else was going to get a 1-year deal, and we'll talk about
did
him.
Not.
And we'll talk about him because his market was a lot better than we thought. We'll get into him later, but first we need to talk about what happened first over this week. And this is one that we might spend a little bit more time on than people would like, and probably more time on than we would like. The reason why is because, again, in case you haven't been watching us for a long time, listening to us for a long time, we are St. Louis Cardinals fans. We are a lot more passionate on the things that affect our team. And this is definitely something that affects our team. Brendan Donovan, we have been talking ad nauseum this entire offseason, wondering, it almost, for the most part, seemed more when is he going to get traded than if he's going to get traded. But there have been some things lately that's made that questionable. We can finally put those questions to bed. Brendan Donovan was traded to the place that it seemed like he was always going to get traded to, which was the Seattle Mariners, in a 3-team deal, which is not something we had.
Not on my bingo card.
Yeah, but Brendan Donovan, so the whole deal, Brendan Donovan was traded from the Cardinals to the Mariners. Ben Williamson, who is a utility player that I think mainly plays third base.
He's a glove first guy.
Yeah. He is going from the Mariners to the Tampa Bay Rays. And the Cardinals acquired 5 players in this deal. 5 pieces, I'll say.
There you go.
Durangelo Sanchez, who, again, we always knew was going to be a part of this deal. The number 91 prospect in all of baseball. He was the number 7 prospect, I believe, in the Mariners system. He is getting traded to the Cardinals, as well as Ty Pete, who is a former first-round pick. Last year had, I believe, right around a 700 OPS in high A, or just under that, while learning a new position because he was drafted as a shortstop, moved over to third. Last year, I believe it was his first year in the outfield. He was the number 11 prospect in the Mariners system. Will reportedly now be the number 15 in the Cardinals system.
Interesting.
And we also got a competitive balance pick from the Mariners, which is the 68th overall pick in this year's draft. Meanwhile, we also got two pieces from the Rays, outfielder Colton Ledbetter, who was the number 24 prospect in the Rays system, and a competitive balance round B pick from them as well, which is going to be the 72nd pick. So the Cardinals, with this trade, the Cardinals now have the second best prospect, or the second best farm system in all of baseball. 6 top 100 prospects, as well as 6 picks within the top 100 in this next draft. The Mariners got a player that is capable of plugging basically any hole they want him to plug. And the Rays, I mean, I don't know why the Rays are involved in this deal, but they got a nice little utility guy who's
They needed somebody who could play third base, and he can play third. He can play some outfield. He can play short. He's a good defender wherever he's at, and he's still young and cost controlled. And so giving up a outfielder that maybe is lower on their list. He's a little bit older than some of their guys that they're a little higher on, because they do have several outfield prospects in Tampa. So maybe he's a little lower. You give up a competitive balance B pick, and you get a guy that you can plug right into your starting lineup every single day. So,
yeah. So what do you think about this trade?
All in all, I kind of like it for everyone, and that doesn't happen often. I like what Tampa did. I don't think they gave up a ton to get a guy that, like I said, that they can plug in right away. I don't think he's ever going to be, a huge piece of that lineup, but he can play anywhere that you need him to, and he's going to play a good defense. Eventually, hopefully, you build through your farm system, or you get some guys, and he can be a utility guy off the bench for you. Now, I say utility guy for him coming off the bench because the guy that Seattle just got is a utility guy, but he is not coming off the bench. He is elite in every position that he plays. He is a gold glover. He can play second. He can play third. He can play your corner outfield spots. He's played some first. If you need him to play short in a pinch, it's not ideal, but he could do it. And honestly, if you threw him in center, I'm sure he would be fine. I love Brendan Donovan. Seattle fans, I'm tired of you because of this whole process and how you've dogged on him. But now that you've got him, you are about to have a new favorite player.
There were so many Mariners fans that were excited about this trade that I saw on Twitter.
Which is hilarious after you've dogged on him for 3 months.
Yeah, and it wasn't even that they didn't spend a whole lot. It's that they were excited that Brendan Donovan was a Seattle Mariner.
As you should be, because Brendan Donovan is a hard-nosed, gritty, works his butt off, awesome clubhouse guy. Like everything that you could want in a baseball player, Brendan Donovan has it. And he plays every position well. He's going to hit for contact. He can lead off for you if you need him. He's not bad against left-handed pitching. He's going to be a 120 plus WRC guy. Like you're going to get consistency from him in the field and from the bat. So I love this for Seattle, who was that close to the World Series last year. And now you're getting a bat that you desperately need, and you're filling a position that you really need. So I like it now because he can play third for you. But when your young prospects that are pretty close get called up, you can shift him to left field and be perfectly fine. Or he can just rotate and play second, third, outfield, whatever you need, whoever needs a rest. Donnie can do it. So I love it from Seattle's perspective, from what they need. And then from the Cardinals' perspective, honestly, they got more than I expected them to as this dragged on. I am not as high on Jurrangelo St. as you are, but him specifically switching and only pitching right-handed, which is the talk right now, I like a lot more. I don't like the gimmicky left-handed stuff. He wasn't good as a lefty. Let's just be honest. His ERA was terrible. His walks were terrible. His command, what he actually threw for strikes in the zone was not good. Um, he's kind of an uncontrollable lefty reliever type from the left side. And him switching to right-handed, I think actually makes him a better prospect. Um, I think he's got a good slider. He's got a mid to upper 90s fastball. I don't like his changeup, but the Cardinals have been high on developing this new kick change that's got some different motion on it. And if he's going to be exclusively a right handed pitcher, he's going to need that away from lefty uh, motion to help kind of combat them just sitting slider fastball. So, um, if he can work a few pitches and get a little more control and a little more feel for them, um, I think he can be a mid rotation guy. I don't think he's ever going to be a one or a two. I think three is the top end of what he can be. I kind of more view him as a four. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he's at least a three. But I don't want to get people listening that are Cardinals fans excited like he's a top of the end guy, because he's not that. Um, Ty Pete, I actually am very excited about. You get an uber athletic shortstop moving to center field that can play center field. He's more power than hit. I believe he hit 19 home runs last year as a 20-year-old playing in high A. He was like the youngest player playing up at the whatever the highest division he played this year, and it was by
Last
by like 3 years. Like he
yeah,
was
last year
so
was
much
his
younger than
age.
everyone.
Last year was his
19.
age 19 season, so
Yeah.
he will be entering his age 20 season. He turns 21 in August.
Yeah. So, you've got a very young guy, but with a very athletic build with a lot of raw power. Um, and a lot of comparables that I've seen for him is a kind of a trajectory of Joshua Baez, where he had a lot of power, but he didn't have a lot of hit tool. And then this year he put it together, and MLB Pipeline and Baseball America are talking him up like he's the biggest rising prospect in all of baseball. So if you can get him into a hit lab, and you can figure out make how to better decision making or quicker decision making and how to make more contact. Um, he's got all the other stuff there. He's already a 2020 kid in the minors. Like there's a lot to be excited about there. Colton Ledbetter, a lot of people think he's a throw in. He's a little bit older. He's 23 or 24.
24.
Um, he was kind of a lot of everything in college at Mississippi State. Um, and like high contact, pretty decent power, good athleticism. I don't think he's a center fielder, but he's definitely a corner outfielder. Um, he had a bad season last year after he had a really, really good first season. And I was listening to the Cardinals, what is it, Birds on the Farm podcast. And one of the guys that they brought in to talk about him had talked about how he had changed his swing angle, where he went from a flat swing in college to more of that launch angle swing that everybody likes. And it looks like it's really hurt him. So hopefully that's something that gets figured out, because he's already 24. Like he's one of those guys that if he's in double A this year, it needs to be pretty quick up to triple A. I think this is a guy that could rise through and be a fourth outfielder for you potentially if he figures that swing out. Um, he's just kind of a all around solid player. And this was a guy who was drafted in the second round. So like, it's not like he was some no talent late round throw in type of guy. Like this is a second rounder 2 years ago. Um, and then I think, like Heimblum said, these two competitive balance picks kind of put it over the top for them. And that was the difference maker. Um, because now you've got six in the top 86, I believe, now. Um, there's a lot that you can do with that. You've got a lot of darts to throw at the board. You have a lot of different strategies you have. You still have two competitive B balance picks that you can trade if you need to. Um, you can go under slot at 13, save some money, and steal one of these kids that are falling out of the first round because they think they're going to be too expensive to sign. Like there's a lot of things that can happen now because of this. So it's given Heim Bloom some high end young prospects, and it's given him some dart throws, and we know he's pretty good in the draft with what he's done in Boston.
Yeah, I think that was very well said. I think we've been on record that I am a lot higher on Durangelo Sanger than you are, and I think I viewed Durangelo Sanger as a very high risk, high reward
For
type
sure.
player this whole time. But I think the reward is a little bit higher than, or at least in my mind, it is than you might be thinking.
Probably.
And the reason why is because if he would have stayed as a switch pitcher, I think his value, a lot of his value would have came from volume. I think he probably would have been a 3-4 in the rotation as a righty and probably a last arm in the bullpen lefty. And I think having both of those in one spot can be valuable because he's not the Pat Venditti type normally that, switches his hand or switches what hand he's throwing with the matchup. That was what he did in Mississippi State. He was the Friday night starter as a right-handed pitcher, and he was the Sunday afternoon starter as a left-handed pitcher. So that's kind of always just been the type of pitcher that Durangelo Sanger generally is. The reports that I've seen says that he's not fully getting rid of the lefty. He is still throwing bullpens and being ready just in case he needs to throw lefty, but he is prioritizing more his development as a righty, which I think is the right move because I do think he can be a solid number 2 starter in a rotation as a right-handed pitcher.
I hope so.
And I think the big thing that really pushes his potential over the top with me is Matt Pierpont. Matt Pierpont, again,
he's very
was one of the people that put together that great pitching rotation in Seattle. He's very good in terms of pitching development. And this is a guy that had a say in Durangelo Sanger getting drafted. So this guy obviously likes him very much as a prospect. This is the kind of trade that I wouldn't have liked over the past few years because John Mozeliak normally did very low risk, low reward trades.
Yeah, this trade wouldn't have happened under Mozeliak.
Well, every now and again he would do a high risk, high reward one, but he didn't have the team in line to actually develop these guys into high reward pieces. I think right now we can even look at the active roster. There's guys like Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman who were drafted as very high risk, high reward players. And in their most crucial years of development,
there's been no reward.
Yeah, they kind of dropped the ball with them. I think it would definitely hurt them that both of their times in the minor leagues was kind of hampered for COVID. Nolan Gorman was 19 years.
Yeah, they got called up too early anyway.
Yeah, Nolan Gorman was 19 years old when COVID hit, and I think that really hampered him. And Jordan Walker got called up at 20 years old. He was in the big leagues at 20 years old. That was, especially with the team that they had in line, that was never going to lead them to success. And so I think with guys like Durangelo Sanger and with guys like Ty Pete, I think having the right player development team in line can give Ty Pete the Joshua Baez treatment. Joshua Baez was not good for his first 4 years of professional baseball.
No.
I believe he was a second-round pick in 2021 or 2022. And he's generally been around a 600, 650 OPS guy with single-digit home runs. Last year, I believe he hit 20, stole 50 bags, and was a 800 and 900 OPS guy. And Ty Pete, again, he was a first-round pick. So I think there is a framework there, especially, he's 6'3", 190 pounds. He's going to be a guy that his power is going to develop.
And he's already got quite a bit.
Yeah, and he's super athletic. I love this trade for the Cardinals. I think Colton Ledbetter, even, he kind of reminds me of what we thought we were getting from Matt Koperniak. Like, Matt Koperniak is a guy that is a corner outfielder who is super athletic, at least for a corner outfield.
Yeah.
Had a lot of power potential, had a lot of potential when it comes to base running. But at this point, Matt Koperniak has been DFA'd. He's 28 years old. He's kind of never proven to be a big league player. And that's why he's always kind of been that next in line guy in case we need a role player in the outfield sitting at AAA who never got the call. So I kind of view some similarities between Ledbetter and Koperniak. And I even think that's kind of exciting because I was a fan of Matt Koperniak for a long time, and now it kind of seems like his time's never really going to come. So between that and then again between those two picks that we're getting, big fan of it for the Cardinals. In terms of the Mariners side of things too, what I see happening is Brendan Donovan is probably going to be the team's starting third baseman to start the year. With Cole Young at second, and then that platoon that I don't like of Dominic Canzone and Victor Robles in right field. I think that's going to be what they're going to be looking at until they decide that Cole Emerson's ready. When Cole Emerson is ready, you can either move Donnie to second and have Cole Young as a fourth or a backup infielder on the bench that is going to be very valuable, or you can move him to right. You move Donovan to right field, or move him to left field and move Arozarena to right. Whatever you want to do. I also think it gives them a lot of leeway if they want to go add another bat. They can go add another infield bat, and Donovan can fill in as a corner outfielder. They can go add a corner outfield bat, and Donovan can stick in the infield, and he can, again, just go kick to second whenever Emerson's ready. I really don't think you can go wrong with what your plan is right now with Brendan Donovan. He's going to be hitting leadoff. He's going to be able to get on base in front of Cal Raleigh, who just hit 60 home runs. You're hitting in front of Julio, who I imagine is probably going to hit second or third. Or he's probably going to hit second, and then Cal's probably going to hit third.
That's a filthy lineup.
Yeah, and again, this is a team who I believe played a Game 7 of the ALCS last year, a team that has never been to the World Series before. It feels like a nice little finishing touch piece. Maybe go add another bat, but I love this trade for them.
Yep. Which Donnie, we're going to miss him here in St. Louis.
Yeah, I've always had some back and forth opinions on whether trading him was a good idea. Just because with where the Cardinals are at right now, the Cardinals are not going to be good. I don't think they're going to be a 100-loss team like a lot of people are predicting them to be. I think they're probably going to take a couple games of a step back from what they were last year. Because, Wilson Contreras and Brendan Donovan definitely hurt, but Sonny Gray had a 4.3 ERA last year.
And was the king of giving up home runs.
Yeah, and Nolan Arenado had a mid-600s OPS. So I don't really think we're losing that much in the grand scheme of things. I could see this team being a 75 to 77 win team next year, it's going to be a fourth or maybe even a fifth in the division.
And I'm fine with it because I want to see the kids play. We got to figure out who can play and who can't.
I would have loved to see Donnie stick around as a veteran leader, but he was always going to be the biggest return that we were going to get. And like I said at the beginning of this whole conversation, the Cardinals now have the second best farm system in all of baseball, according to MLB Pipeline.
It didn't take time long.
Pirates. Yeah, we have six top 100 prospects right now, which is tied for first of any team. And again, we're going to be adding to that this year in the draft. JJ Weatherholt this clears up a 40-man roster spot for him to make the team out of opening day.
He was doing that either way.
You never know with service time manipulation stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think he
Whoa. They would never.
Yeah. I think he could have made his big league debut on June 1st and still had the ability to win the Rookie of the Year this year. With him making the opening day roster almost 100% now, playing either second or third, depending on what they want to do, I think the future is looking really bright. And I think 2028, we could be seeing.
I think the earliest is 2028.
I don't know.
I'm more of a 29-30 type of guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, by the time Brendan Donovan was 29 years old, that's the point that I was getting to.
Yep.
By the time we're ready to compete, he's going to be probably 32.
Yeah. And I had this conversation with someone the other day because I'm absolutely on board with signing Donnie for 5 or 6 years and letting him be that guy in the clubhouse that shows all the young guys how to work and what to do and how to be a big leaguer. But again, you're at least 3 years away. And so you're looking at the end of Donnie's career. Is it worth it at that point? Or is it worth getting the pieces that you just got to rebuild and make this a little quicker, or to make it to where you have some longevity in it? Because you've got some guys at all different ages now in the system.
Yeah. And, if you can trade Donnie right now and get a 22-year-old pitcher who is probably going to be either a 2, 3, 4 in the rotation for 6 years, and go out and get potentially your starting center fielder for 10 years if you want.
I'm also interested to see what they do with Ty Pete. If they don't like him out in the outfield, like, they could move him back to short if they really wanted to. Now, I don't see him doing that because our outfield depth is not good. We don't have a lot of high upside guys in the outfield outside of Baez, so I assume they will keep him there, especially with who knows if Victor Scott will ever learn how to hit a baseball in the major leagues. I'm not sure that happens.
Yeah, and one thing that we really are lacking in our farm system too is outfielders. Obviously, Joshua Baez is probably going to be in the big leagues at some point in 2026, and I'm excited for that, especially because we're lacking righties too. But Ty Pete, I don't think, was a great shortstop, which is why they moved him off pretty quickly. We have a Gold Glove shortstop right now that I imagine we're going to extend at some point.
You would like to think so.
As long as the TV losing the money that we're losing right now on this TV deal doesn't get in the way.
Listen, he said he wanted to play for Heim and Ollie for life, so there's positives there.
I mean, you might be having your middle infield for this Cardinals team for the next 10 years.
That would be great.
If I think it would be very smart for them to have a guy that athletic and that raw just focus on learning how to play outfield. And again, if Victor Scott doesn't start hitting pretty soon, you have a guy that can plug in as your starting outfielder for a long time, teamed up with Joshua Baez out there.
That's an athletic outfield.
Hopefully Jordan Walker.
Hopefully.
And one more thing I want to talk about before we move on. I want to talk to Cardinals fans out there because me and Cody were in a group chat the other day, and I've seen a lot of, and I know some of these were jokes, but I've also seen a lot of Cardinals fans who are complaining about this trade on Facebook and on Twitter and all that. I get on fans a lot for saying ignorant stuff. I'm going to get on Cardinals fans right now for a little bit. This is not John Mozeliak making these trades.
No, it's not.
This is a guy who knows what he's doing, who at some point is going to have money to spend, and
hopefully,
yeah, and has been handling small markets and big market teams that don't want to spend for a long time. And he turned that into a Tampa Bay Rays team that is probably now bad for the first time in 15 years. And he was the guy in charge of making them good at the start of that. He hired Kevin Cash. He was the one that, or at least part of that team with Andrew Friedman, I believe, that built up that farm system to the point of where they were good for so long. He ends up going over to Boston, and the first thing he has to do is trade Mookie Betts because the owner didn't want to pay him. And obviously the return there wasn't great. But the Red Sox can thank Chaim Bloom for a lot of the progress that they've made as an organization right now. They built that farm system up into something that can still lead to a contender in 2025, and he hasn't been there in years. So I say give Chaim Bloom some time. Give this team that he put together, which is a great team, again, the architect of the Mariners pitching staff, an architect of the Astros dynasty. In
Cleveland.
That guy's name? Yeah, Rob Cerfolio's here. He's the architect of that Cleveland farm system for the last however many years. I can't. What is the Astros guy's name? I can't remember.
I only think of Jeff Luhnow.
But yeah, give this some time and don't be ignorant, thinking we're gonna suck forever.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Give it time. Brendan Donovan was a great player, and he was a great clubhouse guy.
And I do think most Cardinals fans realize, and they're so happy when Mo stepped out. And instantly seeing Chaim be open and transparent about things, like you can instantly tell the difference. So I think most Cardinals fans realize this. It's just you traded away every big name player that we had. So it looks bad, but it will be okay.
And then I guess before we move on from this topic, since we've gone so far into the Cardinals conversation, I want to talk about the rumors about the new owner of the Pittsburgh Penguins. His name's Dave Hoffman, and he is trying to buy the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, every report is saying that the DeWitts are not putting it up for sale.
They've been wishy-washy over the past couple of years, though.
Yeah, I'm looking at a KSDK report right now saying when he was asked if the franchise is for sale, he replied, "Everyone tells us no." But this is the guy that came in second place in the bidding whenever the Blues were up for sale in 2012. So he's been trying to get into the sports market for a long time and the St. Louis sports market for a long time. A native of Washington, Missouri, this guy is. And like I said, just bought the Pittsburgh Penguins pending approval. That could change a lot in terms of the direction the Cardinals could go. Because
start handing out some money.
Yeah, because despite contrary belief, the DeWitts, I don't believe, rank very high in terms of how rich certain owners are.
They don't rank very high in how much this person talking likes them.
What?
I don't like them.
Yeah.
I think they're greedy. I think they only care about making money, which is fine, but don't cry poor and own a baseball team when you're a billionaire.
Yeah. The plan that David Hoffman has is he said he wants to buy the Penguins franchise, pay it off, and buy a baseball team. And again, from Washington, Missouri, his eyes are on the Cardinals. This guy has more money, I believe, than the DeWitts do. And the DeWitts aren't broke. Like, the DeWitts have money. They have that pizza money coming in. To those of you that don't know, they own a restaurant called Dewey's. in the St. Louis area.
It's okay.
But yeah, the DeWitts, I have no doubt in my mind, love the Cardinals and love St. Louis baseball. But it seems like they've been very complacent over the past few years.
Decade.
I think a new owner would help them, or would help this team immensely. So that's something to keep on the radar. We'll see if that happens. It probably won't, but we'll see. Now that we spent 35 minutes talking about that.
It was the biggest thing that happened in the last month.
Yeah. It's also, I hope, is going to be still a fairly short episode because there's not a whole lot.
Yep, we're still good.
But there were enough big things that we felt the need to talk about this, including this one, which came in last night as we're recording.
Shocked me.
On Thursday. And it makes very little sense to me.
Yes.
Framber Valdez. So Framber Valdez, we've heard nothing about his market, or next to nothing, over the past 3 months.
Yeah, very little.
And we definitely heard nothing about him going to the Detroit Tigers.
No.
Well, he ended up signing a 3-year deal for $115 million. This deal comes with $20 million of that coming from a signing bonus and an opt-out after 2027. So after the second year.
There's no way Tigers opting out.
The reason why I'm so confused, one, we were assuming Framber Valdez was going to need to take a 1-year deal because it seemed very obvious that the reports of him not being a great clubhouse guy really came back to bite him. The nonsense that he pulled with him throwing the ball at his catcher and purposely crossing him up. It seemed like his market was not good. And yet he got $38 million a year. The thing that really throws me off is that they're not willing to pay Tarik Skubal that much money. Tell me why this makes sense.
It doesn't. I saw it and I said the exact same thing. I was like, so you're willing to give Framber $38 million for 3 years, but you won't pony up a few $1 million more to try and sign Tarik long-term who bleeds Detroit and wants to stay there? Like, what are we doing? Like, this is so stupid. Like, this feels like insurance policy, and now we have a way to be like, well, we've shored up our pitching staff, so we're going to go get a king's ransom for Skubal at the deadline now. Like, that's what it feels like. And I hate everything about this this signing, because I think it kind of signals that Tarik's going to leave.
Yeah, and I will say Framber is a very good pitcher. Every year since 2022, so each of the last 4 years, he has made at least 28 starts. It's been 31, 31, 28, 31. His highest ERA he has had since 2020 is last year when he had a 3.66. He's had 3 top 10 Cy Young finishes. He's got MVP votes twice. Framber is a very good pitcher.
If he's not Tarik Skubal.
Yeah, if you're comparing him to Tarik Skubal, who's 3 years younger and won the last 2 Cy Youngs, the best pitcher in baseball right now, bar none. I don't know why you're willing to give this guy more money when willing to give him double the money you were willing to give Tarik Skubal, because they
won at 19.
Arbitration. Yeah, they just went into
arbitration. Suck it, Detroit. Tarik won that battle.
Yeah,
$32 million.
$19 million, which, by the way, $19 million wouldn't even be the record for arbitration by a pitcher.
No,
because David Price has that record at 19.75.
Not anymore.
That he got in 2015, I believe, or 2014. And they went in at less money than that.
You have to know you're going to lose.
I mean, I imagine they had to know.
But when you're $13 million off what they're asking for and you know you're going to lose, like, what kind of stupidity is that? I don't understand. Also, they still need a third baseman, so I don't know what they're doing. And there's none left.
I mean, Colt Keith, he's fine. Yeah, this does help. Don't get me wrong, it helps the Tigers. You now have Tarek Skubal, Jack Flaherty, Casey Mize, and now Framber Valdez as a part of that rotation.
It's a good four.
And you can go with whether you want to go with Jackson Jobe or you want to go with
Reese Olson. No, Jackson Jobe is pitching this year. He's their other one. That's a really good five.
Yeah.
But are they going to hit enough?
Well, and I mean, they've got their back end of the bullpen tied up too, because they've got Kyle Finnegan and Kenley Jansen closing the game out.
It's very interesting.
Their pitching staff, yeah, I mean, their pitching staff is really good. I can't imagine Tarek Skubal is going to be there the whole year, though.
I don't think. I think he's getting traded.
Makes it to spring training.
He's making it to spring training at this point. I don't think there's any team that's willing to give them the king's ransom right now after this late into the offseason. Like, if it were earlier, maybe, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I think every team can make room for a defending two-time Cy Young Award.
Well, I know, but there's a lot of that you're giving up that you need to fill if you do that. And I think that takes a little more time. Doing it this close to spring training, I think that's hard when pitchers and catchers report in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think Tigers fans, let me know what you think, because I feel like the way to go about this is probably excitement that you got a great number two to pair up with Tarek, and what happens after 2026 is an after 2026 problem.
Yes, and it's going to be sad.
Yeah, be happy right now, because even if they want to pony up and give Tarek a 12-year deal for $400 million,
it'll be more than that.
I think there will be other teams that are going to want to do it, and I think they kind of tanked their relationship with him.
If he's getting 12 years, it's a $500 million deal. He's getting over 40.
I don't know. Maybe they could have had a hometown discount if
not no more. You just went into ARB and tried to trash him to get him at 19.
I don't know, Cody. Is there anything else we want to talk about? Because there's World Baseball Classic stuff. There's the Emanuel Clase stuff that came out.
I mean, you can touch on Emanuel Clase real quick. I don't think it's going to take long.
Okay. So there was a report that came out today that he is accused of pitching in 48 different games over the past 2 years that have benefited the bettors. This is significantly more than what the original reports were, which I believe was 9. Yeah, and now this situation is looking even worse. I don't know if there's any legal ramifications to this, but it seems very clear that Emanuel Clase is never pitching again.
Yeah, I'm going to just go with what I said the first time we ever talked about this. He screwed himself. Cool, you made a few extra bucks by helping bettors, and now you'll never pitch again. So, sucks to suck. Have fun in Japan or wherever else you decide you want to go pitch, because it ain't ever going to be in America again.
Yeah, I think it was like $7,000 a game that he was getting. So $300,000 over the past 2 years.
Yeah, I hope it was worth it, costing you millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah, I think he was on a $15 million a year contract.
So goodbye, Clase. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he could face jail time. I feel like a normal person would, but I don't know about an athlete.
Let me look that up real quick. I don't know if I can trust this AI.
Don't. So what I tell my students, don't ever trust the AI overview that pops up first on Google.
ESPN from November 9th. Clase and Ortiz could each face up to 20 years in prison for wire fraud conspiracy, 20 for honest services wire fraud conspiracy, 20 for money laundering conspiracy, and 5 for conspiracy to influence sports events by bribery, according to prosecutors.
They're not going to jail. They'll go back to their home countries and never come back. Just find a place that doesn't ship you back here, and you'll be fine.
I don't know. I'm so interested by this case, especially over the past few days. I've talked so much about our friend Reggie. He's been asking more about everything with baseball because he's so confused as to why Barry Bonds and Pete Rose are in the Hall of Fame.
Well,
so I'm so confused. I'm so interested by this.
I'll put Pete in. I won't put Barry in. Sorry, all you haters. Well, he was going to be a Hall of Famer, but without the steroids. Then don't take him.
Yeah.
Pete Rose is the hit king. He bet on himself. That's all I care.
That we know of.
Yeah.
I don't know. We talked about that just to give you guys a little extra stuff. Like I said, we had a very light week.
Yeah. How long into World Baseball Classic? We got like a month, right?
Right about a month, yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. So be sure to follow us on all of our socials, which will be in the description down below. We're going to be, even through the slow rest of the off season, on our way into the regular season, we're going to continue to talk about different things that happen.
We might need to do a special Olympic one at some point soon. Talk about the Olympic sports.
Olympic one that is special, not a special Olympic one.
Yes. Like, you might get to hear some curling inside, or...
I mean, the Special Olympics are tied into the Olympics, aren't they? They could...
Maybe.
They could be included. Why not? Or not Special Olympics. That would be Paralympics.
Paralympics. Yeah. Hey, I'm sure we could get the captain of U.S. Paralympic hockey team on here if we really wanted to. I got connections.
Oh. Look at you.
I know.
I thought I was the one that was supposed to have
connections. I know. And we got to get some NCAA wrestling before that happens. I got some connections.
Okay.
We'll get an NFL player at some point. That's the goal. we have one lined up.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of fun stuff coming up throughout this off season and throughout the seasons and the off seasons of other sports. I'm sure in the next few days, the basketball guys will be coming back up talking about all the craziness that happened at the NBA trade deadline.
It was insane.
Craziest of all is probably a trade that didn't happen, in my opinion, but I digress.
Giannis.
Yeah. We got hockey stuff coming up. We got...
Hopefully.
We are hopefully going to be talking about UFC 324 and 325 pretty soon. And I know Aaron is chomping at the bit to talk about 326 because these are his two favorite fighters of all time.
Oh, yeah?
This main event. Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira.
So those are his two favorite fighters?
I know Holloway is number one. I think Oliveira is number two because he almost cried when he got knocked out by Ilya. So
awesome.
We got a lot of stuff to talk about over the next few weeks. The sports world, there's never going to be a shortage of things to talk about. So if you want to hear our dumb takes, please be sure to follow us on social media, like, comment, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please be sure to follow us there, download our podcast, do all that good stuff. And please be sure to use code athletes at 10% off at W Energy. because that stuff will help you out. It will help us out too. So we appreciate you guys for watching. We will see you guys next time.
See ya.